welcome all the Superfly triathlete community members. I hope you guys have been having a good week and getting them some good training. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's Friday, so we're back live here with our freestyle series. So this is our 8th in our series, and this is our last in the freestyle series. But don't worry, we'll be doing some other stuff along the way as well. So this is kicking. We're going to talk about kicking today. So the all-important part of kicking. So we'll get some people some time to catch up and get online here who want to join us live. Those of you going to watch later, I hope you've watched all the other ones. This is number 8. We've done 7 videos so far, and we're on number 8. Hey, Elaine, nice to have you here with us. Welcome. We'll give some people a little bit more time to get on. My name is David Miner. I'm one of the Superfly swim coaches. I also run Swim Without Limits, my own business related to swim events like Swim Around Lido Key, and also putting on clinics and private lessons and things like that. So lots of opportunities to get swimming help through Superfly coaching. So make sure you guys are, taking part of that and making sure you're able to, take that time and work on the swimming. So again, we're going to talk about kicking today. The all-important part of kicking. It's not always easy, but it's a very important part of swimming freestyle well. So again, we'll give it about another 30 seconds or so, let some people get on, and then we will get started. So again, it's Friday, we're live. I hope everybody's been doing well this weekend and had a great week. Hey Jamie, thanks for signing in. Glad to have you here. We're gonna get started on that kicking today, so let's get started. So Superfly Freestyle Series number 8. So we've been through 7 so far. This is number 8 and our final one in this series. So we've made it from the top of our heads. We've worked our way down, working on our head position, our body position, our stroke technique from our arms, our shoulders, our hands. We've worked on our body position. Now we're down to our feet and the all-important part of kicking. So I know kicking can be a challenge. It's a challenge for me. I'm not the best kicker in the world. I used to get yelled at from my coaches when I was a kid to kick more and better, which I'm not sure that ever got any better, but it's one of those things that has to be worked on. So, kicking can be difficult for new swimmers, but also can be hard for people that have swam for a while, like me. Okay, it's not the easiest thing. I've even seen new swimmers go backwards when they kick, so it's quite interesting and it's pretty wild to watch. But people are actually kicking, incorrectly, and they're moving their bodies backwards. So that's something you don't want to do, and you don't want to, get into a habit of kicking in the incorrect way, which is doing more harm to you than good. So we're going to learn a lot about kicking today and what it takes to really, focus and be a good kicker. And we got a good drill for you that we'll go over at the end today to work on that kicking. So there's really several different types of flutter kicking. So we're talking about flutter kicking. We're not talking about breaststroke kicking or butterfly kicking or side stroke kicking or anything like that. We're talking about flutter kicking today. So there's 2-beat kick, 4-beat kick, 8-beat kick. You're gonna see a lot of different styles out there. The sprinters, the guys you watch in the Olympics, the women, they're kicking fast. They're kicking 8, 10 beats really quick. They're trying to move themselves down the pool as quickly as possible. Now you watch some of the distance swimmers, the folks that are in maybe the 1500 meter or maybe even the open water 10K, excuse me. They're going to have a pretty strong quick as well, because kicking is really, progressed more. But it's not going to be an 8 to 10 beat kick. It's probably going to be about a 4 to 6 beat kick. But even a 2-beat kick can be successful. And that's pretty much what I do. I don't have much of a kick. My wife, she'll paddle next to me on some of these swims, and she watches my kicking, and sometimes it says it's non-existent. And she's right. Sometimes it's not existent. Other times there's a little bit of a kick there. but we'll go into some of that, here shortly. So kicking serves a couple of purposes. Obviously, it helps you move down the pool or down the whatever body of water you're swimming in. It helps you move forward, especially if you have a good proper kick. But it also does another thing. It helps you gets you lift from your hips, your thighs, your legs, and helps keep your lower body closer to the surface of the water, which is really good. We talked about body position before, and keeping that body in a much more streamlined horizontal position towards the surface of the water allows you to move through the water much cleaner and much more efficiently, which is what our goal is in all of this. So if we can move through the water more efficiently, we're going to travel further per stroke, and we're going to be able to get through our swim easier. Okay, you guys are out there doing these triathlons. You will have 2 more events that you have to do after a swim. So you don't want to get out of the water completely exhausted. So one, you don't want to burn up your legs, kicking 8-10 beats per cycle, but you also, don't want to just drag those legs behind you, especially if you're not wearing a wetsuit. Now, a wetsuit will give you a lot of lift and it'll help keep those legs at the surface, but if you're not wearing a wetsuit and you don't kick at all, you're going to have a hard time pulling yourself through the water, and it's going to get harder and harder as you continue the swim. So effective kick does 2 things. 1, it helps you move through the water, and 2, it helps to keep your hips, your legs, your thighs up at the surface, which is really important. So how do we kick? Okay, I get that question a lot. When do I kick versus when do my hands go in the water? But basically, I'm going to talk about a 2-beat kick. Okay, so when your right hand goes into the water, your left leg should be kicking. When your left hand goes into the water, your right leg should be kicking. Okay, so it's pretty simple. That's a 2-beat kick. So when your right hand goes in the water, you kick with your left foot. When your left hand goes in the water, you kick with your right foot. So now if you're doing that a 4-beat kick or a 6-beat kick, you're doing like twice as fast, 3 times as fast. So you're kicking a lot more per stroke cycle. So it makes it, a little more difficult, but it also will going to move you through the water a little quicker. So if you're not a really good kicker and you're really trying to get the rhythm down, you're really trying to get the feeling of the kick down, just start with a 2-beat kick and work on that. And if you feel like, okay, you're improved on that, you're getting better at that, then work on, a 4-beat kick and trying to get your, legs moving a little bit quicker, but not to the point where you're just slipping through the water. So again, when the right hand enters the water, the left foot is kicking. When the left hand enters the water, the right foot is kicking. All right, where do we kick from? Okay, we're not kicking from our knees down. We're not just moving our feet in the water. We're kicking from our hips. Okay, so I'm going to stand up here for a second, and we want to kick from our hip. Okay, we don't want to kick from our knee. So I'm going to pretend like my hands are my feet, my wrists are my ankles, my elbows, my knees, and my upper arm is my thighs, and my shoulders are my hips. So when I'm kicking from those hips. Okay? I am not kicking from my knees. Okay? Or just moving my feet from my ankles. Okay? I'm kicking from my hips. So you guys have all watched soccer games probably, or played soccer. You've watched, football games. When the NFL punters kick the ball, or when a soccer player kicks the ball, they're kicking it and driving it from the hip, not just going up to the ball and kicking from the lower leg down. So without that hip-driven power, that ball's not going to fly nearly as far as it does. And without that proper kicking from your hips and swimming, it makes it a lot harder for yourself to really propel yourself down the water correctly without possibility of moving backwards or possibility of really not going anywhere. So you really have to focus kicking from your hips. And the drill that I'm going to talk about at the end here is going to help you to be able to kick from your hips more. Okay, so what else? So your ankles, okay? You saw my feet moving here. You want nice floppy ankles. Pretend like you're actually trying to kick loose shoes off your feet, okay? You want nice, flexible, floppy ankles. If you don't have flexible ankles, I don't have flexible ankles. I never have, probably never will. But you can work on it. You can sit on your ankles, watch TV for a little bit and sit on your ankles and try to loosen them up, and it will help. You guys are bikers and runners as well, so you may, if you have injuries, you have other things that may be affecting your ability to have really flexible ankles, take it slow, all right? Don't jump in and just try to, do something that may create another problem. So work on your ankle flexibility. Your legs, if you saw when I was doing the demonstration, my legs are flexible. My knees are bending somewhat. They're not bending a lot, but they're bending somewhat, okay? So we don't want stiff legs. We're not kicking with our legs completely stiff and not being able to move them. So stay relaxed and stay flexible in your legs, okay? The second thing is, you saw my kick here, all right? It's not this big amplitude kick, all right? It's a tight kick, staying right behind and in line with our body behind us, okay? Pretend like I took a 5-gallon bucket and I slid it over the end of your feet and told you to kick inside that bucket. Well, that's where you want to kick, all right? That's about the degree of amplitude that you want. We're not big kicks. We don't want our feet coming up out of the water as we kick, okay? We want them to stay right at the surface, okay, just below the surface of the water. You want to see some white water behind your feet there. That's fine, okay? Seeing some white water. You just don't want to see your feet flying up out of the water and smashing back down on the surface. All that is doing is catching air, and you're just pushing air and bubbles down underwater. So it's a lot less effective. So keep your feet in the water, kicking directly behind you with loose ankles, okay? Flexible legs, and kicking from those hips, okay? Kicking from those hips. When we're kicking, okay, you want to feel the water pressure as you're kicking down on the top of your foot, and you want to feel the water pressure on the bottom of your foot when you're kicking up, all right? So downward kick, you're going to feel the water pressure at the top of your foot, and the up kick, you're going to feel water pressure on the bottom of your foot. So make sure you're trying to feel that. If you put a pair of fins on and you feel that ankle flexing in that with that fin on, you're going to feel that up kick, and you're going to feel that down kick with that fin on. Okay, and then take the fins off, and then try to repeat that and feel that pressure of that water on the top of your and the bottom of your foot. The fin, you have a much bigger blade, depending on the size of your fin, so you're catching a lot more water. There's a lot more surface area to grab the water. But when you're kicking without the fin, obviously you just have the size of your foot, and we all have different sized feet, so you're going to catch as much water as you physically can with your foot. But you want those toes pointed, and you want to catch that water. Don't have your ankles, if you can see this here, you don't want your feet pointing down when you're kicking. You want your toes pointed, kicking with your those nice loose ankles. What happens is, if you're not moving anywhere, if you're somebody that kicks and you're not really going anywhere, or perhaps you're one of those kickers that may have moved backwards a little bit, you're probably kicking from the knees down, what I call bicycle kicking, and your feet and your toes aren't pointed. So those toes need to be pointed, and you need to be kicking up and down, feeling that water pressure on the tops and bottoms of your feet. If you're kicking from your knees down, on that up kick, you're pulling with your heels, okay? And as your heel is pulling up, you're actually pulling yourself backwards a little bit. And if your feet are on that 90-degree angle with your toes pointing down and not pointed, all right, as you kick down, your foot is just slicing through the water. It's not really catching anything, so it's almost impossible to go forward much at all. Now you will catch maybe a little bit of a little bit of water with the top, with your shin or part of your shin, but it's not really going to do much for you with respect to going forward. It might keep you in place, and you might not go backwards, but really point that toe and really put pressure on the top of that foot as you kick down. Okay. So kicking, all right. The best way to be a better kicker is just practice kicking. Okay. You can kick with a kickboard and just pure kicking. You can kick with your face in the water. You can get a swimmer snorkel, go streamline in the water and kick with a swimmer snorkel with your face down, your head down. That's how I recommend kicking. Kickboards, depending on, I have a neck issue at times, and I don't like kickboard with my head up, so I like my face down in the water. But it's practice, 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 all right? Just get out there and practice kicking. That's the only way you're going to get better at it. Some people are really natural at it. There's a couple of people on our swim team, and I'm saying just a couple out of hundreds that are really good kickers. Then there's a group that's in the middle that are pretty good and they're okay at it. And then there's a group that aren't so great at it. But the really good kickers, it's a very small group of people. And they are just naturally good at kicking. So to get better at it, you just have to practice, practice, practice. So get out there and work on it, okay? Like I said, practice that 2-beat kick to get started. If you want to increase that a little bit more, especially if you're just doing a kick set where you're not actually swimming, stroking, you're just kicking, then you can definitely increase that cycle. So now you're going to go up to 6, maybe even 8-beat kick as you're kicking there. Jan Miller asked a question, does it make any difference if you practice kicking on your back or belly? Not really, no. I mean, both positions are good. As long as you're feeling the water correctly on the tops and the bottoms of your feet, you can kick, you can flip over on your back, kick a 25, flip over in your stomach, kick a 25. They're both good, they're both effective. Okay, so good question, Jan, thanks for asking. Okay, so what is the drill that I was talking about earlier that we can do to be a better kicker? Well, I love vertical kicking, okay? I think it's a great drill to work on your kicking. It's also a good way just to build fitness, build kicking fitness. So don't just do it as a drill now and then, but you can also incorporate it as part of your workout. Probably 2 or 3 times a week, I write vertical kicking into our master swim program for our kick set. So it's a really good way to develop not just better kicking, but also your overall endurance for kicking. So with respect to how do we do it? Well, the goal for vertical kicking is to help develop a better kick with an upbeat and a downbeat and a hit-driven kick. Okay, so you need to make sure you're in deep enough water where your feet aren't going to be kicking the bottom of the pool. All right, so you don't want to be in three feet of water. You need to be, probably 5 feet or deeper of water, depending on how tall you are. All right, you're going to tread water with your arms to get started. All right, then you're going to stretch your arms out onto the surface of the water, and you're going to start kicking below you. Okay. Begin that flutter kicking straight below you. So your legs are going to be directly below you and going to be kicking. Now, you don't want your butt sticking out. You want your hips need to be right underneath your torso, and your legs and feet need to be right underneath you. All right. If you're in this position, it's going to be a little easier because you're creating a little bit more surface area for your body to float, and we don't want to be treading water on the surface at the same time. All right. The goal is to have your hands above the surface of the water, keeping your head above the surface of the water, and kicking below you. So if you can keep breathing, keeping that head above the surface of the water, all right, you're actually moving somewhere. All right, if you're not using your arms, your hands are up, you're kicking straight below you, you're actually moving. So if I was to take you and flip you horizontally real quickly, you would start moving down the pool because you're driving your head up and you're keeping that head above the surface. If you haven't done this drill before, that's fine. Get out there and give it a try. You may need to tread a little bit of water in the beginning. You may need to keep your arms extended out on the surface to give you a little bit more buoyancy, a little flow. You take a deep breath, you're going to feel yourself rise a little bit in the water, and you exhale, you're going to feel yourself sink a little bit. But the goal is to really keep those legs, those thighs, those feet directly underneath your hips. Keep it in a very vertical position. Kicking in that side, that bucket, tight, fast kick. This isn't going to be a 1-beat or 2-beat or 3-beat kick. This is going to be 6, 8-beat kick. You're really going to be power in that kick to keep your body up. But as you get better of it, you're going to build your endurance, and you're going to feel yourself naturally being able to stay above the surface of the water. So we do kick drills sometimes with holding weights, or you can really put your hands up to really put a lot of weight above you to force yourself up. So it's a really good drill, and you can do it in different ways to help yourself improve that kick. All right, make sure you're kicking from the hips. Do not kick from the knees. If your heels are coming up really high, up towards your butt, you're kicking from those knees. So keep those legs extended, keep them flexible, keep those ankles loose, and feel that water pressure on the top and bottom of your foot. And kick inside that bucket and keep your hips in. All right? So that's the vertical kicking drill. That's a really good way to work on your kicking. You don't need any special equipment. You just need some deeper water, and you can really work on it. So during your practice times, throw that in once in a while to work on that technique, work on that ability to kick a little bit, and make sure you're practicing it correctly. Okay, so that is going to conclude our kicking for today. That also concludes our 8 series. This is number 8. This is our last one of this particular series, but we'll come back with some other stuff. Don't worry. There's lots of open water things to talk about and other topics to talk about. So don't worry. We'll be back doing some other topics, live here on Superfly. So keep looking back for us. Thank you to everyone who's participated in the questions, comments on Facebook. Thank you for joining in and listening to these. I hope they have helped you. I hope they made you a better swimmer. I hope you're out there practicing those every week and working on that technique. So get out there, practice, practice, practice. Have fun doing it. Get a partner. Have fun with them doing it. And we will see you guys soon and the next topics we come up with. And we look forward to having you guys join us then. So have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves out there. Be safe. Get some good training in. Don't forget, if you want your stroke analyzed, just let me know. We can get your videos going, and we can work on your stroke technique from that standpoint as well. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.